Lecture 22, The Artisan Caste. Aqua and Red, the makers, movers, magicians, smugglers, and bards of gore. A lecture by Sarakan Thorn. Part 1, Opening. Masters, mistresses, free men and free women, Kajara and Kajari, I greet you. You know me. Sarakan Thorn, 43 years a Gorian, once a publisher, always an explorer, and today I want to speak about a caste that is often overlooked. Not because it is small, not because it is weak, but because it is everywhere and we have stopped seeing it. The artisan caste, the makers, the movers. The singers, the dancers, the painters, the jewelers, the players of the chehar, the tellers of tales. The illusionists, the scribblers, the dreamers in Aqua and Red. The men and women who create the beauty that makes gore worth living. Some say there is no artisan caste. They say artisan is just a word for any manually skilled worker. They are wrong. The caste exists not in the books as one unified block, but in the reality of gore. The musicians have their guilds, the poets have their circles, the gem cutters have their halls. They share the same colors, aqua and red. They share the same protection. They are rarely enslaved, rarely harmed, even by outlaws and brigands. They share the same status, not high caste but not low, something in between, something special. And they are complex. Much more complex than most Gorians think. They collaborate with builders for materials, with scribes for documentation, with merchants for distribution, and sometimes in secret with smugglers to acquire rare pigments, exotic instruments, and earthly knowledge that the priest-kings would rather keep hidden. This lecture will not be comfortable, not because it is harsh, because it is beautiful, and beauty on gore is often the most dangerous thing of all. The circle is open. Part 2, What the books say and what they do not. The books do not give us a unified artisan caste. They do not lay out its hierarchy in a single scroll, but they give us the pieces. Norman gave us the caste of musicians, Aqua and Red, with its own internal ranks. The chehar player, the highest rank, the leader of the group. The flutist, next in prestige. The kalika player, the stringed instrument of gore. The kaska player, the drummer. And the man who keeps the bag of miscellaneous instruments, the lowest rank but still free and still of the caste. He gave us the caste of singers and poets. In most cities they are prized guests. In some like Tharna they are outlawed entirely. But even where they are outlawed they are not enslaved. They are not killed. They are simply not welcome. And they move on. The musicians of gore are never enslaved. A musician who is captured is ransomed or released. The caste sees to it. It is said, perhaps truly, that he who makes music must, like the tarn and the Vosk gull, be free. Nomads of gore. He gave us jewelers, textile artists, sculptors, painters, dancers. He gave us fragments. He did not gather them all under one roof. But in BTB Plus we do, because the artisan caste exists in the spirit of gore, and in your roleplay it can exist in fact. Part 3, The One Caste and Its Many Faces. There is only one artisan caste. The musicians are not a separate caste. The singers are not a separate caste. The painters, the sculptors, the jewelers, they are all artisans. They wear aqua and red, all of them. The same colors, the same caste, they have the same rights, the same protections, the same obligations. The only difference is their specialty. Some specialize in music, some in song, some in dance, some in sculpture, some in painting, some in jewelry, some in textile, some in storytelling. They are not higher or lower than each other, not in the eyes of the caste. A master chehar player and a master sculptor stand on equal ground. The musician may be more visible, the sculptor may earn more coin, but the caste does not rank them. That is for the rest of Gore to do in their ignorance. A special case, the potter. Take the potter. A man who throws simple clay pots, water jars, oil vessels, storage urns is not an artisan. He is a craftsman, but his work is functional. He may belong to a low caste. He may be a peasant with a skill. He may be a slave trained in a workshop. His pots are not art. They are containers. But the potter who creates something beautiful, a painted urn, a sculpted vase, a vessel with intricate patterns, that potter is an artisan. He may work in collaboration with a low-caste potter who shapes the basic form. The low-caste potter provides the canvas, the artisan provides the art. This is common on Gore. A low-caste metalworker forges a sword, an artisan engraves the hilt. A low-caste carpenter builds a chair, an artisan carves the back. A low-caste potter throws a vase, an artisan paints the figures. The artisan caste does not always make the object from scratch. They finish it. They beautify it. They add the value that turns a tool into a treasure. This is collaboration, not competition. I will not list all the subgroups of the artisan caste. There are too many. They vary from region to region, from city to city, from guild to guild. A potter in R is not the same as a potter in Torvaldsland. A singer in the Tahari has a different voice, different songs, different instruments. A dancer in Tyria moves differently than a dancer in Port Car. The artisan caste is not a uniform. It is a mosaic. What exists in R may not exist in Torvaldsland. What flourishes in Port Car may be unknown in Tyria. But there is one subgroup that deserves special attention because they are everywhere and they are often misunderstood. The Bards. The Bards more than singers. A bard is not just a singer. A bard is a keeper of stories. They do not only entertain, they preserve. A bard can recite the lineage of a Ubar back 7 generations. A bard can tell you the history of a city, not the dry facts of the scribes, but the living story with heroes and villains, tragedies and triumphs. They turn facts into art. They travel from city to city. A bard has no fixed home. They wander by foot, by tarn, by merchant caravan. They are welcome in most places. A bard brings news, entertainment, and the comfort of familiar stories. In the taverns of R, they sing of ancient battles. In the camps of soldiers, they sing of courage and honor. In the halls of Ubars, they sing of glory and power. In the oasis of the Tahari, they sing of love and loss. They sing for soldiers in their camps. A soldier's life is hard. He marches, he fights, he bleeds. He needs something to remind him why he fights. The bard gives him that. A song about a hero who stood alone against 1,000 enemies. A song about a city that was saved by the courage of a few. A song about a lover waiting at home, faithful and true. The soldier listens. He remembers. He fights on. They spread ideas. A bard can say things that a scribe cannot write. They can question the decisions of a Ubar in the form of a tragic ballad. They can criticize the white caste in the form of a satirical verse. They can plant seeds of rebellion in the form of a song about a tyrant who fell. The Ubars know this. The white caste knows this. The priest kings may even know this. But they do not stop the bards because a bard is protected, not by law, by tradition. To kill a bard is to silence the voice of the people, and that is a crime that even a Ubar hesitates to commit. They are the memory of Gore. When the scribes are gone, when the scrolls are burned, the bards remain. Their songs are not written. They are memorized, passed from teacher to student, from generation to generation. They carry the history of Gore in their heads, not as dates and names, but as stories. And stories are harder to destroy than scrolls. Other subgroups, a note. I will not list all the subgroups of the artisan caste. There are too many, but know that they exist, and they all belong to the same caste. glassblowers who make colored panes for the temples, calligraphers who illuminate the scrolls of the scribes, woodcarvers who make the furniture for the halls of ubars, metal engravers who decorate the armor of warriors, mask makers for the festivals of the cities, puppeteers who perform for children in the markets, and many, many more. They vary by region. They vary by city. They vary by the whims of the market, but they all wear aqua and red, and they all belong to the same caste. Part 4. The Import of Earthly Knowledge. Man darf nie vergessen, das jedes jaar veel tausend Menschen van der Erde kommen. Mit dem Wissen der Erde. The priest kings are not the only source of new arrivals. The Curii have their own ships, their own agents, their own smuggling routes, and every new arrival brings knowledge. A photographer from 1920s Paris knows how to build a camera. A musician from 1950s New Orleans knows how to play jazz. A painter from 19th century London knows how to mix oil paints. A dancer from 1930s Berlin knows how to move like Martha Graham. The priest kings cannot erase their memories. The priest kings cannot confiscate what is in their heads. So the knowledge comes to Gore whether the priest kings like it or not. The Curii bring art too, sometimes on purpose. A beautiful painting can hide a coded message. A finely crafted violin can hide a Curii communication device. A dancer's troupe can include Curii agents moving freely through the cities. The priest kings know this. They watch for it, but they cannot catch everyone. The artisan caste is the natural home for earthly knowledge. Not because the artisans are rebels, but because they are craftsmen. A potter who learns a new glazing technique from a captured earth potter will use it. A musician who hears a new scale from a wandering earth singer will remember it. A dancer who sees a new movement from a silent earth dancer will copy it. This is not cheating. This is how art evolves. And the priest kings do not forbid art. They forbid reproduction devices, cameras, recorders, projectors. But they do not forbid styles, techniques, or instruments. So the artisan caste absorbs earthly knowledge like a sponge, and Gore becomes richer for it. Part 5. Collaborations, the artisan's web. The artisan caste does not work alone. They collaborate with builders to create better instruments, stronger pigments, more durable textiles. They collaborate with scribes to document their techniques, to preserve their recipes, to record their history. They collaborate with merchants to sell their wares across Gore, from the Tahari to Torvaldsland. And sometimes, in secret, they collaborate with smugglers to acquire rare pigments, exotic instruments, and earthly knowledge that the priest kings would rather keep hidden. They collaborate with low castes. A low caste potter shapes the clay. An artisan paints the design. A low caste metalworker forges the blade. An artisan engraves the hilt. A low caste carpenter builds the frame. An artisan carves the ornament. This is not exploitation. This is division of labor. The artisan caste does not look down on the low caste worker. They respect their skill. They could not do their own work without it. The artisan's web is not illegal. It is necessary. A painter cannot make a luminous blue without lapis lazuli from the mountains. A musician cannot build a chehar without rare wood from the forests. So they trade. They negotiate. They build relationships with high castes and low castes, with free men and slaves, with merchants and smugglers. The artisan caste is not naive. They know that some of their suppliers are Curii agents. They know that some of their pigments come from forbidden sources. They know that some of their instruments were smuggled past the priest king's gaze. They do not ask too many questions. They do not want to know, because art is worth the risk. Collaboration with builders. The builders provide rare woods for instruments, precious metals for jewelry, stones for sculpture, glass for lenses and windows, mechanical parts for trick boxes and stage machinery. In return, the artisans decorate the builders' halls. They paint frescoes for the guild houses. They carve statues for the public squares. Collaboration with scribes. The scribes provide documentation of techniques, preservation of recipes, recording of the history of the caste, legal defense when an artisan is accused of a crime. In return, the artisans illustrate the scribes' scrolls. They paint the covers of law books. They create the seals of office for scribe guilds. Collaboration with merchants. The merchants provide distribution of art across Gore, access to rare materials from distant lands, protection from bandits and thieves by paying for guards. In return, the artisans sell their works through merchant guilds. They create custom pieces for wealthy clients. They accept commissions for festivals and feasts. Collaboration with low castes. The low castes provide basic forms, pots, blades, furniture that the artisans refine. Labor for large-scale projects. Raw materials from farming, mining, and gathering. In return, the artisans pay fair coin, and sometimes they teach. A low-caste worker with talent may be invited to join the artisan caste. This is rare, but it happens. Collaboration with smugglers secret. The smugglers provide earthly pigments, synthetic dyes, rare minerals, earthly instruments, violins, guitars, early pianos, earthly designs, prints, engravings, technical drawings, curia technology disguised as art. In return, the artisans pay in gold or in silence. They do not report the smugglers to the authorities. They do not ask where the goods came from. They accept, they create, they sell. This is the hidden economy of the artisan caste, not illegal but unspoken. Because if the priest kings knew how much earthly knowledge still flows through Gore, they might tighten their grip. And no artist wants tighter grips. Part 6. Status and Protection. The artisan caste is not high caste. They do not rule cities. They do not command armies. They do not interpret the will of the priest kings. But they are not low either. Protection from enslavement. Those who make music are rarely enslaved. In most cities, it is a criminal offense to enslave a member of the caste of musicians. And the artists, the sculptors, the painters, the poets, enjoy similar protection. Not because they are feared, because they are valued. A city without art is a city without a soul. The U-bars know this. The administrators know this. Even the outlaws know this. A brigand might kill a merchant for his gold, but he will not kill a poet for his verses. The verses might one day be sung about him, so they walk freely. They travel between cities. They are welcome in most taverns, at most hearths. They are protected not by swords, but by the simple fact that no one wants to live in a world without beauty. The limits of protection. They are not untouchable. If an artisan commits a crime, theft, murder, betrayal, they can be tried, imprisoned, even executed. But the leaders of their caste will defend them. They will call upon the scribes to argue their case. They will petition the U-bar or the administrator for mercy. In most cases, they will succeed, because the loss of a skilled jeweler is a loss to the whole city. The death of a master sculptor is a wound that never heals. Only in the most extreme cases, murder of a high caste member, treason against the home stone, will the caste council step aside. And even then, they will mourn. Part 7. BTB Plus, Modern Influences and Tools. The Priest King's Rules. The Priest Kings do not forbid cameras, audio recorders, or film projectors. Not because they are benevolent, but because those devices do not exist on Gore. But if someone built one, they would destroy it. Not because of a written law, but because of the threat. Reproduction devices could be used to spy on the Priest Kings, to spread rebellion, to undermine their authority. The Priest Kings have the power to act. They do not need laws. what the priest kings do not forbid. Modern painting styles, Impressionism, Cubism, etc. Modern musical styles, jazz, blues, early rock structures. Modern dance techniques, acoustic versions of earthly instruments, violin, guitar, etc., if they can be built without electronics. Mechanical music boxes, player pianos, simple ones. Manual film projectors, if built secretly though risky. What the priest kings would destroy. Cameras, any. Audio recorders, any. Film projectors, if used publicly. Amplified sound microphones, speakers. Electronic instruments, synthesizers. Any device that can reproduce or amplify without manual effort. The artisan caste's own rules. The artisan caste may have its own standards, not laws, standards. A painter who copies earthly masters slavishly is not an artist. He is a copier. The artisan caste respects creativity, not reproduction. If a painter uses Cubist techniques to paint a Gorean landscape, that is art. If a painter copies a Picasso, that is forgery. Similarly, a musician who plays jazz on a custom-built acoustic guitar is a musician. A musician who tries to build a synthesizer is a fool. The priest kings would destroy it and him with it. The city laws. City laws vary. In R, the administrator might ban certain earthly art forms, not because of the priest kings, but because the white caste pressured him. In Port Car, the administrator might welcome anything that brings coin, jazz clubs, modern dance, Cubist paintings, as long as the taxes are paid. In Tyria, the wagon peoples might have no laws about art at all. The white caste. The white caste, the initiates, do not have direct authority to punish artists, but they have influence. They can preach against decadent earthly art. They can pressure the Ubar to pass laws. They can encourage the faithful to boycott a musician's performance. They cannot burn a painting themselves, but they can convince the city guard to do it. The smuggler's option. If you want a forbidden device, a camera, a recorder, a projector, you must get it from a smuggler. The Curii have been smuggling technology to Gore for thousands of years. They have hidden bases in the northern latitudes. They have agents in the cities. If the Curii can smuggle weapons, they can smuggle cameras. And once a Curii agent has a camera, he can use it to spy on the priest kings themselves. This is the secret economy of the artisan caste. Not all artists participate, but enough do, because art is worth the risk. Part 8, The Wanderers, Artists Without Home Stones. Not all artisans belong to a city. Many wander. They travel from town to town, from fair to fair, from feast to feast. They sing for their supper, they carve for their bed, they dance for their coin. They are the bards of Gore, though that is an earth word, not a Gorean one. They wear the aqua and red proudly, even when the cloth is faded from travel. They are respected not because they are rich, but because they are rare. A traveling musician is a gift from the priest kings. A wandering poet is a messenger from the gods. They are fed, they are housed, they are sent on their way with blessings and sometimes with coin. In BTB Plus, you may play an artisan without a home stone. It is unusual, it is difficult, but it is possible. You may be a singer who refuses to settle. You may be a jeweler who sells her wares at every port. You may be a dancer who has performed in every city of known Gore. You are not outlawed because you have broken no law. You are simply free in a way that most Goreans cannot imagine. Part 9, The Relationship with Other Castes. Scribes. The scribes are the artisan's best friends. The scribes need illustrators, they need copyists, they need makers of scrolls. The artisans need readers, they need contracts, they need protection from the law. They work together more often than not. A scribe who cannot draw will hire an artisan. An artisan who cannot read will hire a scribe. Neither is ashamed. Neither is superior. They are different. Merchants. The merchants buy and sell what the artisans make. A jeweler sells his rings through a merchant. A painter sells her art through a gallery. A sculptor sells his statues through a trader. The relationship is simple. The merchant makes coin. The artisan makes art. Both profit. Builders. The builders need ornament. A great hall is not just stone, it is beauty. They hire sculptors for the friezes. They hire painters for the ceilings. They hire mosaic makers for the floors. The artisans are the builders' silent partners, visible in every archway, every column, every painted wall. Low castes. The artisan caste does not look down on low caste workers. They respect their skill. A low caste potter may provide the basic form. The artisan adds the beauty. A low caste carpenter may build the frame. The artisan carves the ornament. This is collaboration, not competition. Smugglers' secret. The artisan caste does not openly collaborate with smugglers, but they are not naive. They know that some of their rare pigments come from forbidden sources. They know that some of their instruments were smuggled past the priest king's gaze. They do not ask questions. They do not want to know, because art is worth the risk. Priest kings and initiates. The priest kings do not care about art. They care about power. The initiates, the white caste, pretend to care, but they only care when art serves their purposes. A painting of the priest kings in glory is welcome. A song praising the gods is encouraged, but a sculpture that questions the order of things, that painting of a Ubar falling from power, that dance that the white caste finds suggestive. The white caste has been known to burn such things. The artisans know this, so they are careful, not afraid, careful. The higher castes in general. The high castes, warriors, scribes, builders, physicians, initiates, all think they are above the artisans. They are wrong. A Ubar may command armies, but he does not command beauty. A physician may heal bodies, but he cannot heal a soul without art. An initiate may interpret the will of the priest kings, but he cannot move the people without a song. The artisans know this. They do not say it, but they know it. And in their workshops, in their guilds, in their secret places, they smile. Part 10, Closing the Circle. I have spoken, now I ask, what do you create? The artisan caste is not about power, it is not about wealth, it is not about the sword or the throne, it is about making. A song, a statue, a dance, a painting, a poem, a collar, a ring, a story, something that was not there before and now is. Something that will outlive you if you are lucky. The warriors guard the city, the scribes record it, the merchants feed it, the physicians heal it, the builders raise it, but the artisans bless it, with color, with music, with dance, with wonder. Without them, Gore would be a city of stone and steel, cold, empty, dead. Do not underestimate the makers. They do not carry swords. They do not command armies, but they hold the keys to the soul of Gore. And they are protected, not by the sword, but by the simple truth that no one wants to live in a world without beauty. The circle is yours.